talk on the text written by Acharaya, Shantideva of Nalanda University of India, ancient time, maybe 6th, 7th century. And so we are going to discuss about this text, which is called a guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life, and a guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life, the Bodhicaryavatara. Bodhicaryavatara in Sanskrit. So the oral transmission of this book and the lineage of the explanation on this book that I have received from Negi Rinpoche. First I received from Negi Rinpoche, who's a great scholar from Kinnaur district, Himachal Pradesh in India, northern part of India, in my area where I was born. So he was considered a Bodhisattva himself, and so when I was around 12-13 years, I received this teaching in Bodh Gaya, the holy place of Buddha, where Buddha Shakyamuni got enlightenment. So that was very fortunate. I was very fortunate to receive this holy teaching from a holy man in a holy place, right? So so that was a very detailed explanation. So it took about a month. And then after that, I received several times from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and so therefore that is the lineage, unbroken lineage. So I have not much, of course, knowledge, and I'm not capable to explain such a profound book. So it is not that easy to discuss or to keep teaching on this profound book. But I have the lineage at least. So the lineage blessings that I have received can be also transferred to you all. So that is the maximum I can do for you, and then some kind of explanations, or maybe some of you already know the text, the meaning of the text. I don't know. So let's see. And then Bodhisattva life, way of Bodhisattva life. So actually, according to the tradition, I should talk about the writer, the Acharaya Shantideva, and his biography, so that you can be admired him as a great master, you know. But I'm always very bad at history and telling stories and telling history. I'm very bad. I'm very weak. So I have not much knowledge about the biography of Acharya Shantideva. Anyway, Acharya Shantideva was considered, later people recognized him as a Bodhisattva. But when he was living in Nalanda University, everybody thought he was not a scholar, and because he was not showing off his knowledge, and then it looks like that he was eating, sleeping, and and then eating, sleeping, and then going to the toilet, and there's three things what he is doing. So then other than that, they thought that he is doing nothing. So they discussed, the monks and students and professors of the university, they discussed, now this monk is very bad, because this monk doesn't do anything, and our university is highly respected and high reputation. So if he stays here, then it will make how do you say? It will make tarnish bad name about the university, you know. But he cannot be expelled because he has not broken his monk vows. So there is no excuse to expel. So then they discussed, he was also son of a king. That time in India, there are many small kingdoms. So he was also a son of a king. A prince, you know, he was a prince. And then he became monk, and he was living there in Nalanda University, or Nalanda Monastery, monastic university. And then they held a meeting, and then during Vesak day, they had to, some senior monks, they had to deliver some sutra or teachings or something like that. And then they discussed, and we had to do it turn by turn. So then this Shantideva's turn will come, and he has nothing to teach because he doesn't know anything. Then we don't have to expel him; he will leave by himself. So they took the decision, and then one day his turn came, and then he was asked, "Today is your turn to teach," and he said, "Okay." And then everybody was wondering what he will teach, you know. And then there was a throne was put for him. Whenever you give a teaching, the teacher must sit on a throne. So it is not only respect to the teacher, but respect to the holy teaching. So when Paramita was taught by Buddha Shakyamuni, the Buddha himself made the throne, and so he himself made the throne, and then he sat on that throne, and then that was respect to the teaching. Because like for example, Paramita teaching is very rare teaching, very holy teaching, and so similarly here also there was a throne, and then he has to sit on that, and he has to give the teaching. And then that they put a very, very high throne, and then somehow he climbed the throne, and he sat on the throne, and then he started teaching this Bodhicaryavatara. So, and then everybody was, there was no recorder, but then everybody taking note of his teaching, and then he gave this teaching, and then this book has 10 chapters. And the last chapter, the 10th chapter, and when he started the 10th chapter, and there's a particular word, and when it reached to that word, then he started to fly in the space, and then he slowly he flew in the space above, and then after some time all the audience, they just hear his voice, but they don't see his body, you know. Then the teaching finished, he disappeared, and then all the monks over there, they put the notes together, and they discussed, and they found it's a very profound teaching. It's a wonderful teaching. So they put the notes together, and they made they brought the teaching into words, into letters, and a few questions were there, but he wasn't there to be asked. He has already left, and then there was few questions were there. So after many years, they heard that he was somewhere in the South India, and then some monks, they went to the south, and then they asked the question to him, and then he answered whatever it is, and then he said, if you have more questions, I have a written draft in my room, somewhere in the ceiling, so you can read that. And also there is one other book written by him, because he referred in this book that if you want to know about a certain subject in detail, then you have to look at that book. So that book was also, where is the book? They asked him, where is the book? And he said that is also there. And then he was requested to come back, but he refused. He didn't go back. So anyway, then he went to, he lived in the south, and then after that where he went, we don't know. I don't know, at least. And but he must be doing other great jobs, So that is how this book came into exist. The short story of the writer Acharaya Shantideva. So now, since we are going to talk about Dharma, as usual, we must cultivate our motivation, and that is very important for all of us. So with good motivation, we must start. Whenever you do some Dharma practice, so there are two important things at the beginning and at the end. At the beginning, you have to have a right motivation, and at the end, you must do the right dedication. These two are very important. Then, if you can do it rightly, these two actions, then the whole practice goes very well, and the nature of the practice becomes very powerful, and that for that reason, even if the nature of the action or nature of the practice is always good, might be good, but if your motivation is not good, then the action becomes diluted. Action becomes, the practice becomes contaminated. So it couldn't be that powerful. So for that reason, so these two are emphasized, and these two are very important for the practitioners. So therefore, we must cultivate the motivation, So the bodhicitta, think about bodhicitta, body mind, bodhicitta, and we must generate actually bodhicitta within ourselves. And even if we don't have a real bodhicitta within ourselves, most of us, we don't have that. But we must imagine an artificial bodhicitta. Just think about that, think of bodhicitta, and you must pretend that I'm thinking in that way. I always think in that way. That is artificial bodhicitta, and through that power and through that through the influence of that thought, then we have to teach and listen to the teaching. That is very important. Understand? That must be very clear, okay? And then general teaching, you have to have a little bit about the idea of general teaching of Buddha, you know. So that is Buddha's whole teaching is summarized in 3 trainings. And the first training is the conduct, morality, the ethics, you know. That is the first training. So that is considered very important at the beginning, because there are so many reasons why it is important at the beginning to begin with that. Because we have been practicing the negative emotions all the time, and that we don't need any more practice, because it is automatic, it is simultaneous. You know, even if you look at a baby, if someone hits or someone hurts the baby, then the baby becomes angry. You don't have to tell the baby, oh, you are hidden by this, so you must be angry. You don't have to teach. So similarly, there are so many that kind of emotions like anger and desire and so forth. That is not necessary to be taught to anybody. That is simultaneous. So we are very familiar with them. You don't need to teach them, ask us to do those things. But the opposite ones, like you know, which we call morality, that is to be taught. Not only to be taught, but we have to practice very hard. Otherwise, we can't do it. Cannot do it. You understand? For example, we are advised not to tell lie, but not to tell lie is not that easy. Not that easy, and not to steal. And that is also not that easy. We are not going to other people's house and stealing things and so forth. That we are not doing. Of course not. Most of us, we don't do that, and we don't put our hands in somebody's pocket or purse and take money. We don't do that. But other than that, we do a lot of stealings, you know. Because we always enjoy things that we can get, which is you are not entitled to get that, but you still somehow you got it, then you feel very happy. Oh, I got it. So that is also kind of stealing action, you know. So there are so many things similar to that action. And that is lying and stealing, and then other, you know, these 10 non-virtuous actions. All we are very easy to engage into those actions. You know, so how to control that? You need to control them. Otherwise, you cannot. If you go on practicing all these negative emotions, then the result would be not good for you. So we want good results, and if you want good results, then you must produce good causes for the result. Without causes, there is no result. So we have to control those emotions. You know, that is called a morality, conduct, or ethic, moral ethics. So that is very important. So that training, and on top of that, so if you know, if we think only for this life, then actually you don't need to practice Dharma. If you only think, most of us, we forget about future lives. When we are when we are happy, then we don't think. If we are sometimes we suffer, maybe we think about future lives or our future, maybe. But normally, when you are fine, you're happy, you don't think too much about future lives, you know. So for this life, you don't have to practice Dhamma actually. You can get some benefits from Dhamma practice, such as rituals. Get done the rituals from monks, from monasteries, and get rid of the obstacles, some kind of obstacles. So these kind of things could be done. Other than that, you don't need Dhamma practice for the sake of this life, for the benefit of this life. So the main reason is the main reason why we should practice Dhamma, that is for future lives. So for that, you should be convinced that there are future lives. If you are not convinced, if you have no faith in future lives, then you wouldn't practice Dhamma, you know. So to establish faith in, belief in future lives is very important. So you should be fully convinced that there are future lives. Not only Buddha said so, but also logically, if you analyze, then there are many signs that there must be future lives. Because we are quite we can see there are previous lives. That is quite clear nowadays. You find many people, many babies all over the world. They remember previous life, and they recognize their previous parents. They recognize their previous house. They recognize their previous friends. They also remember the names of the previous parents and friends and so forth. Even sometimes, they remember that they lended money to their friends and they never returned that money. So they tell them, oh, that you took that much money, you didn't return. So all really, how do you say? Connected, no connected. There becomes, I don't know. Huh?
Coincide.
Oh, no, anyway, I can't explain. So anyway, these things are there. So some previous lives are there. They're clear. The scientists, they don't know. They are confused, because the scientists, they also see they're there. So what is that? The answer is we don't know what it is. They cannot say there is no previous life. They don't say that. And they don't say there is previous life also, because they don't know. Okay. So if there is a previous life, that means then there is present life and the future lives also, So, and there are many logics that you can think of the existence of future life. Yeah. So you must develop that belief in this system, the future life, and then you think about future life. Oh yes, there is future life. So my future life should be good. So what will be in my future life, So how it works. Then you study karma. You study karmic system. Otherwise you wouldn't study. And if you don't study, then you wouldn't know about karma. If you don't know about karma, you don't you don't develop faith in karma. If you don't have faith in karma, then you can not have faith in future life. You know, and then there's not much reason to practice Dharma. So that is important. You must know there's a future life, and then you practice, you prepare for your future life, and that from there onwards, your Dharma, real Dharma practice starts. But if you do anything for this life, that is not considered the real Dharma practice. According to Dharma, it is not considered the real practice. If you practice, if you recite mantras for this life, and that is not considered the real practice of Dharma. If you do a retreat for many years for this life, thinking for this life, that is, even that is not considered a practice of Dharma, you know. You might have heard that story that in India there was a great practitioner who did retreat for many years, and then when he died, he took rebirth in hungry ghost realm, and then he was very powerful ghost, hungry ghost, because he did a lot of recitation of mantra. So there's mantra has power, of course, itself has a power, but his motivation was wrong. So it couldn't lead to be born to even to be born in upper realms. The nirvana and the state of Buddha is very far. So even upper realms, his practice couldn't lead to upper realms. But in hungry ghost, he was very powerful, hungry ghost. So you find many ghosts quite powerful. Sometimes, you know, in your society, I have no idea, but in our society, there are many hungry ghosts, you know. So they sometimes they help human beings, sometimes they harm human beings. So they are hungry ghosts, so they are always starving. So they need something to eat, but even if we give something, they cannot eat. They don't have the karma to eat, you know, because that's why they are called hungry ghosts. So that hungry ghost, the translation of a hungry ghost is the proper translation or not, this is a question, but it is widely used, a hungry ghost. But so the hunger is there, starving, they are starving. For years and years they don't get anything to eat. But still they don't die because of their karma, you know. So that is there. So, in our society, sometimes they can help human beings to get good fortune, good luck, and so forth. Sometimes they can harm you, temporarily. They can make you sick, and if you give something to them, then they recover from the sickness, you know, some sudden sickness, you know, sudden illness. So that is in our society that happens. We see that quite a lot, you know. So it is like that, without the motivation, and then the proper motivation. Even if you do Dharma practice, it can lead to funny things like that. So to at least to be able to take rebirth in upper realms, you must practice morality. Even how do you say? one action of morality you must practice. So, or two action of morality, or three action of morality. So, or not, seven action of morality, whatever, you know. So if you take a very firm commitment and you follow that one morality, that also goes. That also can produce human form in the future, you know. So because you might think there are in the world billions. How many billions of human beings are there? 7 billion. You don't know. 7 point something. No, 7 billion. 6 point something. So somebody can think, you know, there are so many. It's not very difficult to get a human form. So we see so many human beings around, but to practice morality, that is not only in Buddhism, you know. Other religious traditions, they also practice morality, like Hindus. Almost no religion wouldn't say the killing action is good. So killing action is considered a bad action, so not to be practiced. So that kind of morality is there in most of the religious traditions of the world. So that is, you know, the training of morality, training of moral ethics. The Buddha said, Buddha has explained 10 virtuous actions. That is the basic, what do you call that? Morality. And then he talked about 5 precepts. So the 5 precepts is for everybody, you know, like you know, what do you call that? What do you call? No killing, and particularly. So right now, I just got a question from a friend of mine from the West. So the she might have just received a teaching from some Lama, and then she was. So it is very difficult. She says that not to do 10 virtuous actions, 10 non-virtuous actions. I'm sorry, not to do that because killing always we are doing, you know. She said. So of course we are doing some kind of killing, like maybe I don't exactly know, but maybe she is referring that so many germs within ourselves, worms, germs. I don't know what do you have, you know, in our stomach. You know what do you have. So many things are getting killed when we eat things which hurts them, and then we eat antibiotics, whatever, you know. So many killing actions are not avoidable. But when we take the pledge, we say that I will not kill a human being throughout my life. So that becomes morality. So practice of morality. And then those kind of killings, maybe when you step outside, tiny little insects got killed. So that's also killing action. But you have no motivation, and then it becomes incomplete killing action. Incomplete, right? Incomplete. Okay. Incomplete killing action. So that action becomes very light. So heavy actions and very heavy actions and light actions and very light actions. So many things. So some actions are not avoidable. I mean, you cannot avoid. So that is very light action, and it can be purified very easily, so forth and so on. So they're there, you know. So this, what do you call, so you can take that kind. And then lying, I told you that the special lie, what do you call that, special lie. So special lie, I will check in the dictionary, because anybody know what is the special lie in the 10 non-virtuous action? If anybody knows, please let me know in English. In Tibetan, I know. Yes, in English, anybody knows, then I don't have to look up. Then I don't have to waste time looking.
Is it white lie?
White lie. Qualities. Lying about spiritual realization when actually not possessing them. That is. So most of us, we don't lie in that way, you know. So there is, you can take the pledge very easily. So so you know, that is the special lie. Special lie. So that you can make a promise that I will not do that in my whole life. That's easy, and you are still practicing morality. So sometimes people think, you know, the practice of Dharma is very difficult. So if you know the way, the other day I was discussing with a friend of mine here, and how to accumulate merit and so forth. It's very difficult. I said it's very easy. You can accumulate merit 24 hours. That's very easy. So we are not doing it, and when we are not, since we are not doing it, then it becomes very difficult, you know. So so otherwise, while you are walking, you can accumulate merit. You think of Dharma, you think of compassion, you think of love, loving kindness. You think of anything, you know, anything dharmic. That is accumulation of merit. You can recite mantras. As I said, mantra itself has a power. It is even if you don't think about anything, without thinking, or without with negative thinking. Even if you are reciting mantra, that has good effect. But the other on the other side, your negative thinking has bad effect also. You know. So anyway, you can accumulate, and while you are sleeping, that is the best thing that we can do. So the whole life, whole hours, how many hours you sleep, you can make it for accumulating merit, right? You know that, right? So because sleep is a mind, a part of a mind. The minor mind. So when you go to bed, you think about when you think of positive, like Bodhisattva or whatever, or Buddha, your guru or whatever, and or think about mantra, whatever. Then the whole sleep becomes virtuous action. So the more you sleep, the better. Yeah, it's true. And if you sleep with them, that man did this to me, how to take a revenge, or so forth, thinking, oh, maybe I can do this, then you sleep, then the whole sleep goes, non-virtuous action. And if you just think nothing, like not positive thinking, no negative thinking, then the whole sleep goes wasted. It's neither non-virtuous action nor virtuous action. Okay. So, and similarly, you can do many things. waiting in MRT station or bus station or airport station. Sometimes we get a lot of time. So we can meditate on bodhicitta and loving kindness. And okay, other than that, also you can meditate on emptiness. And so this is very relaxing also. You're very relaxing, very peaceful. So you just look at your mind, close your eyes and look at your mind, and you look at your mind, how your mind look. Is it red or blue, or what color is your mind? What color your mind is? Look into you, and then ultimately you will find there's no color, there's no shape. There's when you look into yourself, and try to find your mind. You feel the mind, you think, so you feel it, but you don't find it. And then don't think anything. Just leave it like that. Just leave it like that. It's very peaceful. Just leave it like that. There's nothing. It's not the real understanding of emptiness, but it's a good starting. And when we try to analyze about our mind, then the mind, you don't find the mind. So it is quite easy quite easy to have some kind of understanding of emptiness. And also it's a very relaxing. And then thoughts will come. Thoughts, if you're relaxing, there's nothing, you can't find anything. So when you can't find any, you don't think about the past, if you don't think about future. If past and future, then disturbance. But live as it is. Live in the presence means live your mind as it is. And it's very relaxing. And then suddenly thoughts will come. Don't follow the thoughts. If you follow the thoughts, then your relaxation will disappear. Then another thought, then so many plans and so forth. Then endless, it becomes endless. Then stressful. So you don't follow the thought. Thought will come. If you don't follow the thought, it will disappear by itself. The thought will disappear. Then again relax. So that kind of meditation you can do everywhere, anywhere. You can do it anywhere. So that is also a practice of, you have to have an intention that I'm trying to realize emptiness. Then that kind of practice becomes virtuous action. But if you don't have the intention, then it may not become virtuous action. But so that is relaxation and calming your mind, calming your stress, and there are a lot of benefits. And it's very easy to do. So you can do a lot of things. So then we were talking about morality, right? And then the second training is concentration. So the concentration is meditation or concentration. So the meditation means that you get familiar with that one subject, the subject of morality, subject of whatever, non-virtuous actions or just virtuous actions or whatever, good actions, bad actions. That one subject you think again and again. That is meditation. That is meditation. You think again and again. The concentration meditation is that you think about one particular object and you put your mind on that object and try your mind not to go away from that object. That is concentration meditation. So there's two meditations you can practice. And then through this practice, and the earlier I told you about the meditation on mind, that is also concentration, practice of concentration meditation. So through that practice, through some other practice, you can develop the concentration meditation, and that will lead you to shamatha. You know shamatha? You know shamatha? You know shamatha, right? So shamatha is a Sanskrit word, and in English they call it calm abiding. So that calm abiding is shamatha. So when you get shamatha, then you can concentrate on one object with full clarity for hours and hours, without any disturbance, without any distraction. Even if some sounds goes, music goes around you, you cannot be disturbed. That is shamatha. And then the wisdom training. The wisdom training is realization of emptiness. These are the three trainings that Buddha taught to us, and when you achieve wisdom training, and then you will realize emptiness, and then you can get out of samsara and attain nirvana, right? And on nirvana, that is also not enough. You have to get the state of Buddhahood. So for that we need bodhicitta. Without bodhicitta, even if you have these three trainings, you can get out of samsara. Still, you cannot get. You are not accomplished all the good qualities. So still there are many good qualities you need to be achieved. On top of that, if you just attain the nirvana, then you are out of the samsara, but you will not be able to help anybody else. You will just dissolve into nirvana, and you will sit there, and you will not be able to help anybody. So if you get Buddhahood, then you will be helping all sentient beings 24 hours a day, and it's like 24/7, you know. That is also very simultaneously. Without any effort, you can help all sentient beings. So that is Buddhahood. For that, bodhicitta is very important. So that is bodhicitta, right? So anyway, bodhicitta is discussed in this text. So we will discuss according to the text, right? So with the motivation of bodhicitta, you must listen to this teaching. Now I will read a few words in Tibetan first as an oral transmission. Chanzu sebe chepala juwa shechawa shosho. Yagake do Bodhisattva Acharaya Pyoge do chanzu sebe chepala juwa sanje chanzu tamje chaselo. So this is, I think, not in the translation. There are this translation. Now I found that it was translated by the Tibetan Library in Dharamsala. And there's another translation that is from Oxford University. It was given to me by a friend of mine, Swilling. Okay, so that was good. I just wanted to go through this translation and compare. And this was also given to me by a friend of mine, and this was distributed by the organizing committee during the recent Kalachakra initiation by the Dalai Lama by His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Bodhgaya. So somebody, I couldn't go there, but somebody brought it for me. So this is the translation. So anybody has any book or translation? You have a book. You have a book, and Sumati, you have a book.
Yeah, in the computer.
You have a book. Oh,
In the phone.
oh, that is you said. That is library one. Library text. This one, right? This one also good translation. This one also good translation, because of course it is. But sometimes I don't know which is better translation. So in Tibetan we have the title of the book always mentioned at the beginning in Sanskrit. So it says in India, in the language of India, Bodhicaryavatara, and they translated the title into Tibetan. Because this is always done in by the translators in ancient time, that to make sure this text is translated from Indian masters. It is not written by local Tibetan scholars, to make sure about that. So this is always done. The title is written always in Sanskrit, and then the translation, of course. And then there is a prostration, paying homage. So the whole Buddha's teaching is divided in three. Tripitaka. They call it what? Tripitaka. Tripitaka, no? Yeah. The Theravadas also they call Tripitaka, and that is in Pali Tripitaka. In Tibetan is no. In English I don't know exactly what they call it. What is the translation? It might have here. Yeah, here. The three baskets. Yes, three baskets of teachings. So, three baskets. Yeah, Tripitaka. Yeah, Tripitaka. The three baskets of teachings. The way in which Buddha's teachings, now one is Vinaya Pitaka. Then the basket of teachings of discourses, that is Sutra Pitaka, mainly emphasize the training of concentration, and then the basket of teaching of knowledge, mainly emphasizing the training of wisdom, the Abhidharma Pitaka. So the king of Tibet, he made a rule that all the translators, they should specify the paying homage to Manjushri, paying homage. When you pay homage to Manjushri, that means this is this teaching belongs to which basket? The basket of what you call basket of, again I forgot.
This course, one is this course.
Manjushri. This is Manjushri, right? No, you don't have Tibetan version. Anyway, this is no, this is not Manjushri. Manjushri is, I think, Abhidharma Pitaka. So this might be Sudra Pitaka, that pays homage to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And then if it is Vinaya Pitaka, then they make the homage to omniscient being, omniscient, that is Buddha, right? So according to that, here is here paid homage to Buddha and the Bodhisattvas. Now, Bodhisattva, you know who are the Bodhisattvas? What is Bodhisattva, you know? The bodhicitta, you know, bodhicitta, when you generate bodhicitta, and when in reality bodhicitta is grown in within you, at that moment you become bodhisattva. Understand? So when bodhicitta when bodhicitta is how do you say, arisen? The bodhicitta is arise within you. That moment you become bodhisattva, right? So from that onwards, till you get fully enlightened, you will be fully enlightened, and you are bodhisattva. When you are fully enlightened, then you are Buddha. No more bodhisattva. So that is the definition of bodhisattva. Is that clear? Yeah. So your bodhisattva means, of course, we all are practicing Dharma, and even sometimes some people, you have great compassion, great loving kindness to all sentient beings. Still, you are not bodhisattva. When you have bodhicitta, then you become bodhisattva.